Good morning, students. So, in this object-oriented programming lecture series, I am come with you new topic operator overloading. So, it is important part of the object-oriented programming. So, what do you mean by operator overloading and how it applied in C++ programming? So, first we see operator overloading is an important branch of polymorphism. We have already discussed polymorphism and its function overloading. So polymorphism can be divided in two types: compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. So in compile time polymorphism we have two different types of overloading. It is function overloading and operator overloading, and in runtime polymorphism virtual functions. So in simple words, overloading an operator means assigning additional operations or job to it relative to a specific class. Now, once C++ great features is its extensibility. We know extensibility is one of the best feature in C++. So operator overloading is a major functionality related to extensibility. So in C++, most of operators can be overloaded so that they can perform special operations relative to the classes we create. For example, plus operator can be overloaded to perform an operations of string concatenations along with its predefined job of addition to numbers to numeric values. When an operator is overloaded, none of its original meaning will be lost. So, after overloading the appropriate operator, we can use objects in expressions in just the same way we use C++ built-in data types. So, now consider an example how plus operator is overloaded. Just we have programmed class strings. It will concate two strings, that is combine two strings object. Here we take first integer value n1 10, n2 20. So I think it is n3, and string s1 rising, s2 text. So s3 strings. Now n3 equal to n1 plus n2, that means addition, and s3 equal to s1 plus n2 concatenations. So overloading operators. So operators comes in three flavors: unary, binary, and ternary. So unary operator means it is consists of only one single operator. Binary, in case of binary there are two operators, and in case of ternary there are three operators. So we are free to overload most of built-in operator, but we cannot create new operator of our own. Therefore, although we can give our class an increment operator, we cannot create a squared operator. So we can overload this operator to do anything we want, but it is a good programming practice for them to make sense. That means we can have the plus plus operator to increment, but it would make no sense to do so. So operators functions. So operators are overloaded by creating operators functions. So how we create operator functions? An operator functions defines the operations that the overloaded operator will perform relative to the class upon which it will work. So an operator function is creating using the keyword operator. So we use the word keyword operator to create operator functions. Operator functions can be either member functions of a class or non-member functions of a class, mostly friend functions. We have already discussed about friend functions. So the way operator functions are written differ between member and non-member functions. So member operator functions, suppose we are going to create an operator function which is member function. So a member operator functions for binary operators. Suppose we are waiting for binary operators. So return type, class name, scope resolution operator has an argument list, and this is the body of the operations. So close. Often operator functions returns an object of class they operate on, but return type can be any valid type. So the hash is a placeholder. When we create an operator function, substitute the operator for the hash. So if we here use binary operator plus, then we place here plus. A member operator functions for binary operators. So similar return type, class name, scope resolution of operator. So here what type of operator is overloaded to plus argument operations. So for example, if we overloaded the plus operator with operator plus, while overloading binary operator using member functions, the argument list will contain one parameter. So member operator functions for unary operators. Suppose for unary operators, then return type, class name, scope resolution operator has, there is no parameters. So operations, and while overloading an unary operator, argument list will be empty. Friend operator functions. So instead of member functions, we can define operator functions that will be friend to the class we have created. So a friend operator functions for binary operators, return type operators has argument list. So operations. While overloading a binary operator using friend function, argument list must take two arguments. One of them must be user defined type. And a friend operator functions for unary operators. So return type operator has argument list operations. So this is while overloading an unary operator using friend functions, argument list must have one argument as referred to the object. So overloading operators has some rules. So we must remember that rules. So we can overload virtually any C++ operators, but we cannot create our own set of operators. So we cannot change any operator precedence. We cannot change syntax to use an operator, and we cannot alter the predefined job performed by an operator. That means we cannot overload plus operator in such a way that to perform subtraction of two integers. So here plus operator is originality will be remain same. So we can overload most of unary and binary operators, but we cannot overload the ternary operators. Remember, ternary operators cannot overload it. Binary as well as unary operators can be overloaded by both approach, member function approach and friend function approach. So overloading in C++, we have two types of function overloading and operator overloading, and we discuss the basic concept of this. So different types of operator and they are overloaded, and this is we have already covered. So now this is already covered. So an overloaded function can have multiple definitions, the same function name and same scope. This is already covered in my previous class. So I think this is not, no, this is some functions. This plus, yes. So we have already discussed this. Yes, remember some operators can be overloaded. So this all are operator that we can overload it. But here these operators cannot be overloaded. Scope resolution operator, ternary operator, dot star, dot operator that cannot be overloaded. So types of operator will binary, unary, unary prefix, postfix, binary plus, this type of operators. So if we give some example operator overloading, then we create a overloading class overloading example class, and private member is integer m local integer value. This is integer value. So publicly we define a default constructor. So overload example integer j. So it is a parameter constructor. One integer value is passed here. So m local integer equal to j, and here overloaded operator function. This is we have defined integer operator plus, because here binary plus operator is overloaded and integer j, this parameter is passed. So return m location plus j. Okay, this is the how operator functions are defined, and then class is closed. So in integer main, one object is created. So object 1 10 is passed here, and cout object plus 10. So overloaded operator call and gets return 0. Then unary operator attached to a single operand, plus a minus a minus a postfix prefix a. This is the unary operator. So if we take an example of unary operator, then we take a class unary example for private. Here integer variable, one integer value m local integer. So public unary example of integer j. So m local integer j is assigned here, and this is closed. Then operator function is defined, integer operator plus plus. This is increment. So here unary operator plus plus increment is applied. So return plus plus m local integer. So here class is closed. Integer main object is created. So unary object 10, object 1 10. That means object plus plus. So it is increment operator overloaded. So it gets return 0. So we have this type of unary operator overloading. So unary operator postfix. So this is another example. Class unary example private local sm. So public sector, we define this constructor of integer j and integer operator plus plus integer argument for postfix operator. So here we need argument because we applied postfix operator. So return m local plus plus. Here plus plus is postfix, that is why it is given after the increment. So this is in class closed. So integer main unary example object is created, then cout plus plus. So this gives the operator overloading and increment of object with postfix. So this is another example. So how we have this type of lots of examples we have. Now binary operators attach two operands. So m minus A minus B, A plus B. These are binary operators because two operands are here and applied operators. This is binary operators. If we take the example binary operator example over binary operator overloading the private and local, this public, this is constructor, and first there is J and assign here. So in integer, this is operator function, so integer return type is integer operator plus binary example, and this is object. Here this is object is passed with reference, so return m local integer plus this dot m local. This is the syntax of how operator functions has been defined. So we can close the integer main binary example object 10 and object 2. Two objects are created, one 10 another 20. So here object 1 overloaded operator called, so object 1 plus object 2, then we get added and finally we get the result 30. So non-overloadable operators, so operators that cannot be overloaded due to these reasons. So member selection dot operator cannot overload it. Member dereference dot star operator cannot be overloaded. Exponential star star operator cannot be. User defined operator cannot be overloaded. Operator precedence rules. So this is session. I think today I conclude my class with this simple example. Thank you all.